thing led to another when you're doing breakfast radio, and I'm doing breakfast radio, it's 20 to 5 in the morning. I'm going to sleep, so I apologise. So there was some big news that was put out yesterday. We didn't go with it yesterday because we didn't want to put a run on the banks yesterday. But today, the big news is the RBA has released documentation that proves that it's busted. That means it doesn't have any money. Now, don't freak out too badly. The RBA can print money, so they say. The Reserve Bank of Australia does have that ability, but whether or not it has that ability at the moment is a whole new ballgame. I see that there are news stories coming up this morning in some areas. I'm just having a look on news.com to find the story I looked at earlier today. And essentially, what's going to happen, we believe, is the banks are going to close down for a bit. Now, there is a thing floating around that says ANZ are closing from the 30th of September to the 5th of October. So if you need cash, they won't have any services available between that time. Now, I happen to be an ANZ customer, so I rang their customer service centre last night. The fellow that I spoke to knew nothing about this. Mind you, he didn't sound terribly confident either. But I, as an ANZ customer, haven't received that ANZ thing that we're getting in our emails and in our SMSs. So I would not freak out too badly at the moment, but certainly go in today and ask the question while you're taking some money out. I would probably take as much out as I could. The next couple of weeks is going to be interesting, and well, today is the 23rd of September. We've been saying that the 24th holds something. We don't know if that holds something in Australia or the US. We suspect the US, so that'll be tomorrow our time, potentially Sunday our time, Saturday night, Sunday morning our time. That might have repercussions for the banks on Monday. So if you need a bit of cash, go and get it today while the banks are still open. I don't know that the financial restructuring is what this is all about at well, this time. I think it's probably a bit soon. I would expect that sometime in October rather than now, but who knows? I'm not running the show. So yeah, there's some interesting things happening. So the RBA have announced in a detailed article with the real money people, and because I'm just working off my phone at the moment, I'll dig out the link and try and put it in the comments later on. You can read the article for yourself. They do make some claims, the RBA, that they're able to print money when they like, so it's not a real issue. They are government guaranteed, so there are no real problems. Except if the government's not guaranteed, I dare say that they might have a few problems guaranteeing what happens with the RBA. And all other banks. So the other banks can't print money, so they only have access to what they've got. The RBA, of course, can, or used to be able to print money. The interesting thing for me, and I don't understand procedures in minting of coins or notes or anything like that, but the interesting thing for me was the discovery that the latest coins, the 2022 minted coins with the Queen's effigy on them, were actually printed 2 years ago, or stamped 2 years ago. Now, I understand you've probably got to get ahead of production for the year of release. I understand that, so maybe there's nothing too strange in that. If anybody knows about minting procedures and where they would normally mint new coins, like for instance, will they be stamping out effigies of King Charles III now on our coins, and will we get them in 2022 or will they be 2023? Do the coins actually even begin to get drawn up or minted before the coronation? We haven't had a coronation yet, and certainly Charles hasn't taken any coronation oath, and our Magna Carta 1215 supporters will understand what that means. So yes, it's going to be an interesting time. Good morning to Mount Gambier, beautiful part of the world. It's 4:15 in Mount Gambier. You're doing all right to be out of bed this time of the day. Go and see my mate Craig Parham down there if you need a lawn mow. Bugsy, he's a good man. We went to school together. Albania, Lirim, my God. Well, good evening to you. Very good morning from us. It's 4:45 in the morning here, so yeah. Anyway, that's the news on the RBA. Dave Graham may have released something at midnight. That was our plan, that we were going to put something together, each of us, last night and release it at midnight. But unfortunately, I went to sleep. That's a bit of the hassle with breakfast radio. If you want to see what breakfast radio station looks like in the mornings, so there you go. It's a real setup. And I've got about 14 minutes before I've got to go and do stuff. So I just wanted to get that out this morning and let people know that the RBA has released a statement pretty much saying that it's bust. And I would suggest maybe going and getting some money out of the bank if you can. Get as much of your money out of the bank as you can. With everything else that's going on, there's no guarantee that the bit of paper you get out of the bank is going to be worth anything. But we do believe that if you lose in this in some way, shape or form, it will come back to you down the track, and not a long way down the track. But nobody is going to lose a huge amount of money. There are plenty of us, plenty of people like me, I'm sure, who have less than $1,000 in the bank. Now, the government initiated bail-in laws in 2018 to help the banks in just this sort of situation. Bail-in laws indicate that they can take your money out of their bank and keep it, and in return they can give you shares in the bank. Now, that doesn't help you greatly if you've got cash. Now, the bail-in laws do not apply to anybody with a bank balance under $250,000. At least that's my interpretation of it. So the bail-in laws aren't going to affect me. They're not going to affect most people in certainly my situation, as we don't have $250,000 or more sitting in the bank. But if you are fortunate enough to have $250,000 sitting in the bank, I'd probably try and get under that if I were you. 249 might be all right. The trigger is 250. So if you don't want to play with the bail-in guys, then get your bank account down to under $250,000 if you're fortunate enough to have that. Good morning to a wet Sydney. It's pretty wet up and down the eastern seaboard at the moment. Robert Deutsch has been pretty accurate in his predictions, and I must say to the guys that I'm working with that are tracking these flights that are flying around doing very strange surveying in areas, more and more evidence is pointing that they're not surveying. The areas that these aircraft go to and do this stitching, we're calling it, very tight flying in very tight areas, and then 2 or 3 days later you wind up with a huge, massive weather system down the eastern seaboard. It just so happens to link up to all those little places down the coast where they've been spraying, or if that's what in fact they've been doing. There's a lot of questions there, folks, that need to be answered, and I'd like to thank the guys on the Gold Coast who are particularly involved in doing this. They are very dedicated human beings, and I won't name them, but they're very dedicated, and I've rebutted a lot of what they've said. And they go away, they do their research, and then they come back and say, "Oh, Carl, good try, but..." And look, they're pretty right most of the time. So we'll have a bit more on that in the coming days, but they're pretty strong indications that where these guys spray, there is problems shortly after. Yeah, Rob is very good with his predictions. He's very good at analysing those weather images, and yeah, I don't think he's been wrong yet. I just wish he was a bit easier to work with, or I'd have him on every other day. He's just, yeah, for whatever reason, I don't think it's ever going to happen with me, at least. I don't see him talking to too many others. He did do a live, I know, in Harvey Bay recently, via YouTube, just sort of streamed in. Didn't go too well. There were some technology issues, I believe, and yeah, it sort of upset him a bit. So maybe Robert will come around and we'll be able to get him on one day. But fingers crossed, we'll see what happens. I would like nothing more, to be honest. So we'll see what happens. So yes, wet day down the eastern seaboard. It says here, well, actually it says here the sunny coast today, mostly sunny. But if I bring up the weather all round, it's looking like the clouds back over the weekend and a few showers early next week. But the big rain at the moment seems to be south of us, and I know Brisbane, Gold Coast, Northern Rivers copping it pretty hard, or did cop it pretty hard there yesterday again. A lot of water flowing into the northern rivers. People are concerned again for Lismore. I'm not sure how bad it is at the moment, but we'll have to go and try and find that out at some stage later today. I've got some friends down that way, so I'll try and get a call into them and see what's going on. But yeah, water levels on the rise again, and like I say, wet all the way down the eastern seaboard. And it doesn't seem to be moving real fast, which is weird. You know, weather systems these days, you can't trust them. All right, guys, I've got 8 minutes before I've got to be on the wireless. So I've got a few things I've got to do. I just wanted to let you know, g'day mate, morning. Just wanted to let you know, the RBA has released a statement. It's been picked up by Real Money, and they've written an article about it where it said that the Reserve Bank of Australia is broke, is bust. Now, it has something to do with the bond investments that they've made over the last 2 years, trying to keep the economy going, supposedly. And now that it's coming back to bite them. They have no reserves left, and therefore essentially could be called trading insolvent. But the Reserve Bank of Australia plays under a different set of rules. So we'll wait and see what happens, and my advice would be today, go and get money out of the bank. Get enough money to last you 2 weeks, just in case. You might want a bit more, but if you've got a bank balance over $250,000, you might want to try and get it under $250,000, and that way you will avoid the bail-in laws should they be activated, and they wind up taking your money to bail them out. So just be careful. Don't be panicked. Don't be worried. As I say, I believe that whatever's going to happen, whatever money you lose out of this banking issue, I think will come back to you eventually. But that doesn't make it any... There's no guarantees with that, and it doesn't make it any easier when you have it taken from you. So just be aware of that. That's the bail-in laws that were enacted by the Australian government in 2018. They very quietly voted all that through. Essentially, it means that any bank can take your money to make sure that they don't go under, and you get shares in the bank in return, or something like those lines. So today, be very open-eyed about the banks. Go in, grab some money. That's my advice to you today. All right, folks, 6 minutes. I better get going and get myself ready for the wireless. Have a great day. We will do a little bit more tonight on this. I've got a big day moving stuff again today, so we'll just see what happens. But there will be a bit of a chat tonight at some stage. I might get Guru on and we'll just have a talk about this as a bit of a Friday night free-for-all. I have been speaking to the Aussie Cossack on and off. We've been dodging each other's phone calls. Well, not dodging, missing each other's phone calls the last day or so. Hopefully I might get him on for a bit of a chat too, so we'll find out what's going on. I know there is a big book release impending coming up, I think, in a couple of weeks' time, so he rang me at some hour the other night while I was asleep. I vaguely recall him mentioning it. I can't tell you the dates, but he was very excited about it, so I'm sure it's going to be a huge book release. Potentially the Russian embassy could be involved, I'd reckon. At any rate, we'll see what happens. Thank you very much for your support, folks. Thanks for being here, and of course you can find out all the information at vofhq.com. Vince, our web guy, I have to go and throw myself on his mercies, because yesterday we were meant to have a bit of a tutorial day, and just all the shit. So have to try and do that now. Maybe tomorrow we'll figure it out. All right, folks, thank you very much for your support. Have a great day today, and like I say, go and get some money out of the bank as soon as it opens. Get as much as you can and hang on to it for the next few weeks. It's going to get interesting. I think it's kicking off, folks. I really do. Have a great day, won't you?